What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ethan's Exotic Escapades. Today I'm with Abe from Two Raw Exotics.
Hey, how you doing?
He's going to be doing a tour of his collection that he has here in North Carolina, and we're going to go ahead and check out all of the cool things that he has. But before we get started with this video, make sure that you like and subscribe to join the tribe. And let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and start off with these animals right behind us. We're going to go in here with some food right here, and he already told me they're going to go crazy for this food, so we're about to find out how crazy they're going to actually be.
You can grab the bucket.
All right.
The pig, the goats, all of it, the donkey, all of them are very friendly. It's just watch your steps because it's real muddy out here.
Now, we walked a little bit out of the mud, and I've got the food right here, and I'm going to shake it up to get them to come towards us, and you can see them all going crazy. But what all do we have in here?
So essentially in here, right here, we have our little miniature donkey. His name is Dominic, by the way. He's very gentle. He doesn't run like the rest of them when it comes to the food and everything because he's a donkey. He protects the herd, but he's kind of scared of the herd at the same time. Now in here we have Toby. Toby is a Jersey giant bull, not a Jersey giant, a Jersey bull. Jersey giant is a type of chicken. And then we have some Nigerian dwarf goats in here. This is Martha. She's my oldest one. I've probably had her for about 6 years now. This is Wilson. He's right at 1.5 years old. I got him from a person on the side of the road actually selling goats. And then this little girl right here, Wilsa. Wilsa is Martha's baby, and she actually turns 1 year old in a couple weeks actually. And then these two right here I recently got, so they don't really have a name. I'm still thinking of names and everything like that. And then the pigs, we have Toonie and we have Esther. So both of those came from a rescue situation where she was with a horse that wasn't very well fed. They had a area that was probably about 10 by 20 and they had no kind of grass, no nothing, which I mean, I have no grass, but I also do put hay and everything in here, and I keep everybody well fed and everything like that. And then Esther actually came from a animal shelter where they said if somebody didn't come and get her, they were going to put her down because she kept rooting up in their kennel, but she was rooting because they didn't give her no kind of shade. She was in the direct sunlight. But that's pretty much all the animals out here, except the two pigs back there. We do have a big, giant male meat pig, which he's not for meat purposes here. He's a pet here. And then we have a coon pig back there as well. And if we want to, in a little bit, we can walk up to them and talk a little bit about them. And you can really see how big the meat pigs actually get. And he's only probably about 9 months old, and you can see how big he is.
All right, I had to go ahead and dump out the food because they were going crazy over it. This one right here did not want to share with the other ones, but we also wanted to talk about the goose that's over here that you've probably been hearing.
His name is Bobby. If you hear all the noise in the background most of the time when we're out here, every time somebody comes in the yard, he screams, he makes noise, as well as Dominic. He is, I'm not sure what type of goose he is. My friend told me a while ago, but I'm a little stumped because what he said, I looked up pictures and it didn't really match to what he said. So I'm kind of lost for words. Somebody kind of just dropped him off and we kind of just found him out here because somebody just dropped him off. So I was like, he can go with the flock, he can stay with the flock. He hasn't left, so obviously he doesn't want to. I have seen him fly before, but because of how big and heavy body he is, he can't really fly like high and far, but he can. Like I see him fly throughout the pasture sometimes, but he's never left out of the fence. He's never gone anywhere, so he's here to stay.
He looks like a chunky boy.
Yeah.
Look at him over there. All right, we went ahead and walked over here to see these pigs that were laying down over here, and he's going to tell us about these pigs right here.
So this one right here is Wilbur, the very big one. He is a meat hog, which all the bacon and pigs and pork and everything that people eat, they come from this specific type of pig. And he's specifically just a pet here. He's probably about 9-10 months old max, maybe. And you can see how big he is. When I get him to stand up in a minute, he's about the same height as the donkey. This one next to him is a coon female. And they're just best friends. That's why they're up here laid together. And they're just chilling right now. They're not too hungry because they do a little rooting and stuff. The other pigs, the potbelly pigs, they don't do all that. They do sometimes, but not a whole lot. That's why those ones come running to the feed. And these ones also haven't been here as long, so they don't really know, like, oh, it's time to eat and stuff like that.
I can't believe that this pig is only like 10 months old and it's already this big.
Don't mess with his girlfriend.
No, he don't want you to mess with his girlfriend?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Look at him. Look at him. What, if I touch her, he's gonna get mad? Okay.
He's fine out here. I do have a couple more that I will breed up to breed these guys, but right now they're just strictly pets and everything like that. And we will get to see the smaller ones. We have 2 babies, 2 females of his same specific breed. We will get to see those in a little minute.
He's so cute. All right, we're over here showing off a couple of other animals that he has over here. These are some pigs, and we're going to talk about these guys.
So right here and here, these are my piglet enclosure. As you can see, as I was saying, I have 2 more of the meat pigs, just like the big guy out there, Wilbur. And those are the same breed. Excuse me. Those are the same breed as him. Now these ones in the corner, the darker ones, the black ones, these are quote unquote, as people say, one of a rare breed of meat pig. They're called Mijan hogs, and basically people say that they are the Wagyu of the pork world. So if anybody's a big like steak lover and everything, they know that Wagyu is top of the top. It's like the most expensive, the most high grade, and the best meat there is. So these guys, as they get older, I'm not gonna eat these guys obviously, but I do have a male and female because I do plan to breed them. And when they have babies, I will probably sell the babies and stuff like that. And as people get them from me, you know what their intentions are with the animals afterwards. I cannot tell them what they can and can't do with their animals. All I can do is kind of like pick and choose who I sell to. But these guys, I know people when they get them, they will kind of want them for meat, but a lot of people want them as pets because also people call them Dumbos, because I don't know if you notice how big their ears are, but when they get bigger, their ears will be very big and they look like Dumbo the elephant. But that's just a little bit about these guys.
Next up, we wanted to show off this bunny rabbit right here. This is a lion head rabbit, and it's got some very pretty eyes, you can see. But these are really cool bunnies. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and check out the outhouse right here. This is where we got some other really cool exotic animals, some turtles. So we're gonna go ahead and head on inside and let's see what he's got. Now we're inside of the outhouse right here, and we're gonna go ahead and check out. We've got 2 enclosures right here that have some pretty awesome turtles in it. We're gonna go ahead and start with this enclosure right here.
So in this enclosure right here, we have 6 turtles, and let's start with the biggest one. The biggest one is I'll leave the species as a guess. Y'all can go down to the comment section and see if y'all can guess what she is. She is an albino of some sort of turtle. Now in here we have a pink belly side neck. This is a big male pink belly side neck. His name is Lieutenant Dan because he is missing one of his legs. So I actually found him in the wild of Miami, Florida. Now these 2 guys right here are called Mississippi map turtles, and this is a male, and I'm sure this is a female. I'm not too sure, but you can go ahead and have these. You can take those home with you, bro. Thank you for coming up here and showing out my collection, stuff like that. I love the support, bro.
That is awesome. So these guys are going to be coming home with me, and thanks so much. That's really awesome. These are really cool turtles, and I mean, I just love the ridges that they have on their back. You can see right there, and on this one right here.
And then, not last, but we have right here, it's a little dirty. It's a female striped mud turtle. I did have a male, but unfortunately he passed away. But I did get eggs off of her this year. Actually, I got 3 of those. And then the eggs are in my buddy's incubator. And then this right here is just a regular old mud turtle. Very small, but that's those guys.
So do these mud turtles, I'm going to set these right here just for right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are these 2 turtles, do they musk, kind of like musk turtles too?
Yeah, that's what you smell right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they do, just like the musk turtles do. But you want to talk about this guy?
Oh yeah. What we're about to show you is pretty crazy in here, and before we show it to you, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that the thing that I just got in a recent video, I actually got from him, and it's a way larger version than what I have. So we're going to go ahead and check him out.
So this guy right here, I'll step on this side so I can pick him up. But he's real cool, you know, he's my baby. And I do want to point out this is not his permanent enclosure. I move everybody in for the winter time, so this is what he stays in during the winter time, because outside the water will freeze over and stuff like that, in which they do come from places where it gets cold and the water freezes over, but I just like to be cautious of stuff like that. But clean his head off a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
This is Shrek. So Shrek is a alligator snapping turtle. And I've had him for probably about 2 years now. I got him with some size on him. Now his estimated age is probably about 75 years old.
Oh,
so
wow.
he is prehistoric. This guy right here is a dinosaur. Now if you notice his nose, so the reason his nose is like that is because I got him from a buddy who breeds these guys, and he was kind of a gift because I have a passion for these guys. They're my favorite turtle. And a female actually bit the tip of his nose because he was breeding her too much.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Before we go and check out more animals, we decided to take this big, huge guy out so that you can get a better look at how big this guy is. But before we start talking more about him, I did want to know, how long can these live?
So a lot of people, it's kind of all over the place, but they can live over 100 years. Like these guys are modern day dinosaurs, like true dinosaurs. As you can see, he already has that prehistoric look, and they can live 100, 150, 200 years. They live for a long time.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. But what we're about to do is maybe even a little crazier, because I'm about to pick it up. He told me it was like 100 pounds, and you can tell that he's a
solid.
big boy. I'm gonna try and pick him up.
So when you pick them up, just put one hand back here and put one hand back here. Now with the common snapping turtles, they can reach back and grab you, but if you can't do that, so just one hand behind his head and one back here.
Okay.
Kind of use your legs instead of your back so you don't hurt yourself.
All right, let's see. Oh yeah. Okay, this guy. Yeah, he was definitely not lying. This is definitely an 100-pound turtle. I already am tired, and I've got to put him down, so I know that it was heavy. But look at these claws. Come down here. Look at how big these claws are. This looks like bear claws right here. That's how big these claws are.
So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all one more cool thing about this guy, what they do in the wild. So I'm gonna scratch his head. Now if you see he's opening his mouth, if you zoom in on his tongue is very bright pink. So out in the wild, what they do is they are kind of like ambush predators. They don't stalk, they kind of ambush their prey, and they sit there with their mouth wide open like that, and they'll wiggle that pink tongue like a worm. And a bluegill, a bass or something, even catfish, they'll go in and they see the worm, they'll go to grab it, and as soon as they go to grab it, they shut their mouth, and that's how they eat.
Now we are at the next location. We're going to be showing some more exotic animals. We're going to start off with this tank right here. Got a bunch of really cool fish. Some fish that I keep in the store, actually, most of these I've had at the store or can get. So he's going to go ahead and tell us about all of the fish that are in here.
So this tank is nothing extravagant. It's just a 75-gallon tank, which a lot of people would say is kind of overstocked right now. But the Pacu go outside during the summertime. During the wintertime, I like to bring them in because I don't want them to get too cold to die. Now, once my pond area outside is done and the heat and everything is complete, they will stay outside full time. But essentially, these two guys right here are two red-bellied Pacus. Now, these are just goldfish, everybody knows. I got these for like 17 cents, and I initially got them as feeders, and what I was trying to feed didn't eat them, so I was like, I'll keep them as pets. They've been doing good in here. If you see right down there, he's poking his head out. That right there is a loggerhead musk turtle. Now, if his shell will come out, you'll be able to see how pretty he actually is. And because he's inside the tank and he's in a good, clean water, their shells are a lot more vibrant and a lot more brighter. Now, everything else we have an albino Oscar and a regular tiger Oscar. Now this is a male and female breeding pair, the albino being a female. They have bred for me once, which at the time I had a pleco in here. The pleco ate all the eggs.
Oh wow.
So that kind of made me mad, but it happens. You know, you learn, you live and you learn. Inside of this hide right here, we have what is called a tiger shovel-nosed red-tailed catfish hybrid. So these guys, I don't know if you know much about them, they come from the Amazon. So they get about 4 to 5 foot long. With him being a hybrid, he could reach 6 foot because the shovel-nosed do get real big. That's why I'm setting up a pond area outside so that he can go outside and he can get to his true full potential. But he's only about 4 months old right now, and I haven't been pushing him. When people push him, they'll grow a foot a year. You know, they'll get big. This guy right here is a largemouth bass. But he's a little different than the normal largemouth bass that you'll see out in the ponds and stuff. He's a normal one, but he's what they call a F3. I think they said he was a F3 tiger bass, or like a hybrid. So he's a mix between a strain of bass that comes out of Florida, which makes him more aggressive. So when I put food in here, he'll blow up the top water when I give him worms and stuff like that. He's real aggressive. Right here, we can show this guy out. This right here is my little rhino iguana. He's a little crazy. He's gonna jump like your iguana did in the video.
Oh yeah.
But this is a little rhino iguana. Now, if you want to get closer to the lighting so you can really see his colors, it doesn't hurt. But he is a male I'm raising up for 2 females, which we will see later on in the video.
Now we're going to go ahead and check out the next tank right here. This is a saltwater tank, and he's about to tell us what all he has inside of his saltwater tank.
So once again, nothing extravagant. This is a 75-gallon saltwater tank. The sand came from Petco. I forgot what kind of sand it was, but I think it was like the Black Caribbean sand or whatever. But a lot of these rocks I actually found out at the beach not far from where my buddy stays. He stays probably about an hour from the beach. So I was like, hey, let's go out to the beach. I want to make a saltwater tank. Went out here, we found some of the, like the rocks with the oysters and stuff on it, a lot of the shells and stuff, and some of the whiter rocks. Now the purple rocks and stuff, obviously I bought, but in here we have 2 turbo snails. That's what that is right there. And then we have a chocolate chip starfish, which is in the back corner right there. And then those little small starfish are considered pest starfish. They don't get no bigger than that, and they kind of like, they reproduce like crazy, but I don't mind them because they'll clean the glass and stuff, which I need to clean the glass right now. But it is what it is. And right here we have a blue damsel. We have 3 of those guys in here somewhere. That's the bird in the background talking. And then we have 2 yellow-tailed damsels. We have a domino damsel, which is right there behind the snail, if you can get a good view of him. And then we do have another damsel in here. He is kind of like the boss of the tank, but he hides all the time. Now, if somebody comes in his area, he will fight them and get them away from his area. But when I got him from Petco, they actually didn't know what kind of damsel he was. They kind of didn't even know he was in the tank. I was like, well, cool, I'll take it. He looks cool, why not? He's like a very dark blue, and then he kind of has like around his fin, it's a little bit of yellow. And he's bigger than the rest of the damsels, but he's hiding. He hides real good.
I wonder if we'll be able to see him in here.
Yeah, he's hard because he's the darker color. Yeah, I can't find him. There was a snowflake eel in here too, but unfortunately they are escape artists and he did jump out and I found him a month later. Oh, yep, there he is.
Came right out and he's gone.
He's coming.
He's coming.
He's kind of got like a fantail. Yeah, he went back up under the hide back there. But he's real cool.
And there's a hermit crab back there too.
Yep.
Pretty decent sized hermit crab in the back. Now we're gonna go ahead and check out this other tank that's right here where we've got, everybody loves these guys, this axolotl right here. An albino axolotl. Next we're gonna talk about this cat right here. This is a Bengal cat, and I'm not too familiar with these cats, but he's gonna go ahead and tell you about this guy right here.
So this guy right here, his name is Scar because when I very first got him at 6 weeks old, and as you can tell, you see his paws, he likes to scratch. So Bengal cats are essentially a Asian leopard mixed with a domesticated cat. So with him being an F4, that means he's a 4th generation off of an Asian leopard. So that means his great-great-great-grandmother or grandfather is a Asian leopard, which I'm not sure because he is not TICA registered, which is a cat registry. So I don't know exactly which one, whether it was the mom or the dad that was the Asian leopard. But I actually breed these guys. I have an F2 female, which we will see shortly, as well as she just had a litter of babies, and she had 3, which for an F2 is actually pretty good because with them being so closely related to the Asian leopard, they don't tend to have big litters. So they usually only have 1 or 2, but with her having 3, I got pretty lucky. This girl right here, her name is China. She is a F2 Bengal, so she's a little bit bigger than Scar, but really it's about the markings and everything. So she has what you call rosettes. So if you saw Scar, he had just the spots on him. She has bigger rosettes and bigger stripes, more like of that wild cat look. And when people like to buy these cats as pets, that's really what they like to look into. They deep dive. They're like, okay, if I'm gonna get this animal, it's supposed to be related to a wild animal. We want that wild animal look, but we want the domestication, you know, the feel of a domestic cat, but a look of a wild cat. Yeah. And with these Bengals, they're supposed to be hyperallergenic, so that means with people who are allergic to cats, they don't tend to be allergic to these kind of cats, as well as like African servals and the Savannah cats and stuff of that sort. When she had the babies, I didn't even know she had the babies until she showed them to me.
Oh wow!
So it was real crazy, but I'll put her up and I'll go grab the babies for you.
All right, we've got the babies right here, and we're gonna go ahead and check them out. They're so tiny.
Yeah, these guys are real cool. They are real tiny, like you said. Which these ones will be considered F3 Bengals. So the father is an F4, the mother is an F2. Now with the cats and stuff, they will be lower than the highest. So the highest, like she is an F2, so she's the highest. So they'd be one lower, so they're considered F3s. And they are crying because we did just take them from the mother, which it's only been 2 seconds, so they will be fine. But as you can see, they have the nice stripes and the markings like the mom does. Now, you won't really be able to tell if they have those big, wide rosettes until they're a couple months old, just like with dogs and stuff. The more they age, a couple weeks in, once they open the eyes and everything, that's when you'll be able to see like what their actual colors look like. And these guys are only about 3 days old, and we have 3 little females here, and they have some real nice face. It's like they have like a very bright white face, and I think some of them will stay like that, but they're pretty cool.
I've never seen any kittens this small, which I mean, I've never really had a cat anyway, but I've never seen any that are this small. They're so adorable. Here is the guy that y'all have been hearing in the background. This is an Amazon parrot right here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys about this bird. So, well, and there he goes. All right, we're back now with him. He flew off from us, but
so this guy right here, his name is Stevie. He is a red lord Amazon. So they have like blue fronted Amazons, yellow fronted Amazons, and this guy is pretty cool. He's about the size of an African gray parrot. Now, I got him from a buddy of mine down in South Carolina, and I don't know a whole lot about birds, but I have enough knowledge to care for him properly, how he should be taken care of. I give him all natural food and stuff. I give him natural fruits and berries and stuff of that sort, and he's a pretty cool bird. Like, since he's been here, he's picked up a few different words and stuff. Like, he'll say mommy and stuff like that, and he likes to talk, and he actually meows like the cat. So I got a video of him the other day. I kept hearing the cat. I'm like, there's no cat in here. And I looked over to him. He'd laugh before he'd do it, and then he'd meow, and it sounds just like the cat, but it's just a little bit more raspy. But that's pretty much him. And I think he's about 20 years old. I'm not sure. Now, the Amazons can live a good distance, a good time.
Next up, we've got this huge tortoise out, which I have these at the store, but they're not as big as this guy right here. We've got sulcata tortoises at the store, but they're just little babies. This guy is humongous compared to mine.
So this guy right here, his name is Sheldon. He is an African spurred tortoise, also known as an African sulcata tortoise. So native to Africa, I'd say he's probably close to 40 years old. I've had him for about 6 months now, so if you notice the front of his shell, that is not because of anything I did. It was like kind of like a rescue situation. People got him, didn't know much about him, but they took good care of him because he has no pyramiding or anything. But they don't know how that happened. They say it showed up one day. Yeah. Which, you know how that goes. But I'd say he's roughly 100 pounds. That's why I'm out of breath right now, because he's.
I just watched you carry him over here, and I can tell he weighs a lot.
Just like that snapping turtle. I'd say him and snapping turtle right around the same size, same weight, and everything. So the snapping turtles just have bigger heads and stuff. But he's real cool, and a lot of sulcatas like to dig a lot. I keep them outside during the summertime, inside during the wintertime, and he doesn't do any digging or anything, surprisingly, which I'm grateful for that, because they dig very deep holes.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to show off this cat right here, and I'm not too familiar with these types of cats, so he's going to go ahead and tell us about this.
So this guy right here is Sylvester. Sylvester is what they call a naked or a hairless cat. He is a Sphinx. So he is my boy, and I do breed these guys as well. I have a female, which I can get out and show y'all here in just a little second. Now, the female is what they call an elf ear. The ears are curled a little bit, and she's a lot smaller than what he is. Now, when I got him, I actually went way to Kentucky to get him. Got him from a good buddy of mine. And if you notice, he has those bright blue eyes, and he's real dark colored. When I got him, he was really light colored. So as he's been aging, he's been getting a little darker, but he's real friendly, as you can tell.
Is there any kind of like special care that you have to do since it's a hairless cat?
So some people like to take them outside, or they sit in the window and stuff. So you want to make sure you want to give them lotion and stuff. Really, they have cat lotion, because you don't want them to get sunburnt and stuff. As well as you have to clean their ears a lot more often, and just if they scratch themselves, it's a lot more noticeable, and it's easier for them to get hurt because they don't have that fur.
We've got the next cat right here, and it's also another one of those hairless cats.
So this right here is Bubbles. Bubbles is a Sphinx as well. Now, like I was telling you, her ears, if you notice, they're just a little bit different. She's what they call a elf ear. Now, her ears aren't as curled as some of them, but their ears do curl up. Now, if you notice with Sylvester, his ears were like regular ears, pointy and everything. Hers kind of curl up some. Now, I do keep these guys separate because they're friendly towards each other, but these guys go and heat every 3 weeks, and obviously I want to breed them, but not yet because I don't want her to, she's not quite old enough. And she's growling because she sees him. And then I don't want her to get overbred neither. So I might breed her 1 or 2 times, but other than that, I won't really do much more breeding than that. But she's real friendly. She just don't like the other cats either.
Now we're going to go ahead and check out this really nice display right here. We've got a lot of different invertebrates over here. We've got some tarantulas and scorpions. And here's the tarantula right here. It's a very pretty tarantula.
Yeah, that's one of our curly hair tarantulas.
I just noticed how pretty this tarantula is right here. I can see him.
Look
at that.
It's a Mexican red knee.
Wow.
Now we have another one that looks similar, which is right here, but he is a Mexican red leg.
Okay.
It's just a baby.
Before we go outside, there's actually one thing that I wanted to show you guys. And this deals with some more things that we're going to see whenever we go outside to see some really exotic reptiles. But this right here is a baby king cobra.
So this one specifically is a baby male Malaysian king cobra. So you have Chinese banded king cobras. You have other kind of king cobras. Now, I know them as Ophiophagus ohana, which basically means snake eater. They're not actually a true cobra. The true cobras are a naja species, which he is an Ophiophagus species. Now, they did just get the taxonomy did just get redone. So all the different kings have been put into different categories. So I need to do a little more research on that and keep up to make sure he is Ophiophagus ohana. But that's pretty much him. He's about 8 months old. And he's in shed right now. That's why he looks dull. But every 5 days, I feed him a baby corn snake. That's what you have to feed him right now because they're snake eaters. It's healthier for him and better for him. As he gets older, I'll scent pinkies with the snake and get him to eat rodents. But it's healthier for him to eat snakes.
Yeah. How big will this guy get?
So king cobras are the world's longest venomous snake species. So this guy can easily reach up to 12 to 14 feet long.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And as he ages, his colors will actually change. He'll probably change to the color of his hide, actually. So as they age, they lose those bands and they lose that dark coloration and they brighten up and they go to like a gold coloration, like a rusty gold color.
We're now in the next and last location for the video. We're in his reptile room right here, and there are a lot of very awesome reptiles in here. And some are extremely dangerous, but we're going to show them off, of course. We're going to start off by doing kind of like an overview so you can see just how many enclosures are in here. And you can hear in the background some of those venomous snakes. It's some rattlesnakes, and they're shaking their rattle. So that's that sound that you hear. They know that we're here because they're letting us know. But we're going to go ahead and show off some of these enclosures. It's got a rack over there because he does a lot of breeding, a lot of different snakes. And then here's some of the venomous stuff, all the enclosures over here, and then we got some enclosures over here that have some of the bigger snakes, and then there's some lizards in here that we'll be showing off as well. Now we've got the first animals out right here. These are some iguanas, and he's going to tell us a little bit about these iguanas.
So these guys are a little different than your regular green iguanas or orange iguanas. So these are Lewisii Cuban rock iguanas hybrids. So if y'all saw the iguana earlier, it's a rhino iguana, which is a male. These two are females, which I do plan to breed these guys in the future because I do like to breed the reptiles and stuff. And I'm very picky when I choose what kind of homes I go to because I want to make sure they're well taken care of. I want to make sure that people are very knowledgeable about the animals. Now, this one is an older female. She's actually about 4 years old. I got her from a buddy of mine, and he kind of like just donated her to me and was like, yeah, I see you're trying to get going breeding, so go ahead and take her. She has cycled once, but the male obviously isn't big enough, and with her being that size, because they do get a lot bigger, I don't want to breed her too young also. So I'm going to wait probably another 1.5 years when he's ready, and then I'll probably breed them then, and these girls will have a lot of size on them by then. But that's them.
Yeah, you can take a closer look at these right here. How big can these iguanas get?
So these guys can get about 3 or 4 foot, and they get really, really thick. Now the rhino iguanas get just as big, and they'll have the on their nose they'll have 3 spines, which is why they call them rhino iguanas, and they get very thick necks. They get real big, and I just love the way they look. So I'm kind of like really into these kinds instead of the greens. That's why I wanted to choose to breed these.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all have seen any other videos online, but these iguanas are extremely personable lizards, and they make very good pets if you take good care of them. Next up is this guy right here. This is a water monitor right here, and you can see just how pretty this guy is right here. He is a little squirmy, so I'm also wearing these gloves because he is not tame enough yet to the point where he's not going to bite. So I'm wearing these just in case, because their bites are not very good. It does not feel good at all. But he's going to go ahead and tell you a little bit more about what kind of monitor this is.
So this guy right here is a type of water monitor. So a lot of people tend to mix these guys up with the Kamingi monitor. Now this guy right here is called a Sumbawa monitor. Now he has that very bright yellow coloration. As you can see, he's very feisty. I've not had him too long. I got him from a buddy of mine. He's kind of like a display animal for me because I like to monitor lizards. Now he does not get quite as big as like the other monitor lizards. Like some of them can reach upwards to like 7-8 foot. Now these guys, they'll get about 5 to 6 foot long, and as long as you feed them the right diet, they can live a good long time. Where a lot of people get messed up at is where they'll tend to feed them rodents like back to back to back. Now with these guys, you're supposed to mix up their diet with like shellfish and give them like fish and stuff like that, and a couple rodents here and there. But too many rodents can make them get too fat, and it'll lower their lifespan, as well as it can give them fatty liver disease. But you can see he wants to bite, which he did bite me earlier when I was getting him out, but that's why I let him wear the gloves. I don't want anybody getting bit, anybody getting hurt. It doesn't really hurt that bad. He's got a lot of pressure behind it, but he's not big enough to the point where it'll hurt you. So that's why I keep a pair of gloves so I can work with him. And in a year's time, he will be puppy dog tame. But that's him.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you guys know I love water monitors. They're probably my favorite species of lizard. And so I had to have him take this guy out so that we could see him. But here's a closer look at this guy right here. You can see just how awesome this guy is. Now we've got the first of the snakes that we're going to be getting out today out. These are some boas right here, and he's going to tell us what morphs exactly these are.
So these guys right here, these are 2 of my breeder males. I do breed a lot of boas. Now these are BCI, boa constrictor imperator. I'm sure people know about the BCC, which is boa constrictor, a true red-tailed boa. Now these ones are the imperators. Now they have a lot of different morphs with these guys. This guy right here is a junglo male, and I run him to 2 of my other females. And this one right here is he's an IMG Anery het albino. So the IMGs tend to be very dark colored, but he's a lot darker, and the pattern doesn't come through with him because that anery pulls it out of him, and it makes him like a jet black snake. When people want like a rainbow snake, this is what they think of, or they think of a golden child retic, because that blackness, it shows the iridescence when you put him in the sunlight, and you can get a real good look at him.
Yeah, it really looks kind of like the midnight sky or something. Like, it's really pretty. And here's a closer look at this guy right here. You can see just how vibrant the color is on this guy. Next up, we have another snake right here that gets to be pretty humongous. I can't even see where his head is. He's wrapping up around. Okay.
He's a pretty female.
I'm wearing gloves just in case, because this is a species of anaconda. And he's going to go ahead and tell us a little bit more about this one.
So this girl right here is a 2-year-old female yellow anaconda. So the reason I asked him to wear the gloves is because, not because she's mean or anything, but yellow anacondas specifically, they just randomly like to bite for no reason. And, you know, I don't want him getting bit or anything like that. Well, it will not hurt. I just don't want anything like that happening. I don't mind getting bit. It doesn't faze me. But I don't want any of my guests here to get bit or anything. But she has the full potential to reach about 14 foot, possibly about 10 to 14 foot. The males being a little bit smaller. Now, when people think anaconda, they automatically think giant snake. Now, the giant snakes people think of when they say anaconda, they're thinking of the green anaconda, which is a different species of anaconda, which they all are in the boidae family. So these guys can actually breed. Like if I wanted to, the male boa you just saw could breed to her, and they will make hybrids. But they are in the boidae family, and they give live birth. But that's pretty much her. And hopefully within the next 2 years, I could find a male for her and tend to try and breed her. Her name is Verde, by the way. But I think she's pretty cool. The yellows always piqued my interest more than the greens.
Yeah, it definitely is very awesome. I've never held an anaconda or seen one like this close besides maybe at like a zoo. I've never seen an anaconda up close like this, so this is really awesome. Next up, we have another python species right here, and he's going to go ahead and tell us about this one because I've never seen one like this or even heard of it.
So this right here, if you smell something right now, that's because it is musking. Now these guys, these ones specifically that I have a pair of them. They are called Timor pythons. Now if you see that vibrant like camouflage color, they're more of like an arboreal snake, but they are in the python family, and I'd say they are closely related to a scrub python, and they do get some nice size on them. She is about 3 years old, and I have a male of the same age. It's hard to come across these guys that are captive born and bred because not a lot of people can breed them. So these are one of my like special projects that I don't really show off a lot, but I'm hoping I can get them to go this year hopefully and get some babies off of these guys. But other than that, like they're just a very cool species in my opinion, and I plan to set up like a big bioactive arboreal setup for them to get them feeling comfortable and everything. But most of them that you see will be all wild caught, and they'll be very mean and very bitey, but it's pretty chill other than the fact it likes to move like a corn snake all the time. It will not sit still for nothing. But if it'll stretch out so that y'all can see, it's actually probably around 6 foot long.
Okay, yeah.
So she's very, very big. But yeah, that's pretty much just her. I love their pattern and coloration and that camo look to them.
Yeah. It's so crazy. It kind of looks like a block pixel pattern almost in the skin. I mean, that's pretty awesome. All right, we have got some snake hooks just in case, but we're going to be taking out a snake that's right here, and it is venomous, so this is dangerous.
So I'm going to move this hide to the side. Now, I have it labeled dangerous reptiles. My cages have that. Now, it's dark in here right now because it's nighttime outside. So I keep the cycle going. They're on timers. The lights cut off at their own. And they have heat panels in here, as well as this building stays around 75 degrees. Now, a little bit about this girl right here. Well, this guy. It is actually, I would say, my prized possession. This right here is what you call an East African gaboon viper.
Now, before we keep on going, I'm going to be taking the camera now because if you guys don't know Caitlin, she is scared of snakes, and she's definitely not going to get close to this one right here. So I'm going to be taking over the camera.
So a little bit about this guy. So they have two species of gaboon vipers. They have East African and West African. And a good way to distinguish between these two is I will show y'all a West African in a minute, but this is an East African. Now, if you notice right here on his face, he has a half stripe right below his eye, and then he has a full stripe. Now, that stripe is actually a full stripe, but it doesn't like go quite to the bottom. Some people would call it a teardrop. And the coloration on these guys are a lot different, as well as these get a lot bigger than the West African gaboons. Now, I'll turn them that way so that you can get a very good look at these guys. Now, these guys have the longest fangs of any venomous reptile. These guys are very cool. They're very fast-moving snakes. A lot of people call them like a caterpillar snake because out in the wild, when they move like a caterpillar. Now, these guys aren't seen as often. You might see like guys like Chandler's Wildlife, Tyler Nolan and stuff have the East Africans and stuff like that. But not many people get these ones because they're a little bit harder to care for and they're harder to come by. I got this one from a good friend of mine. He trusts me with a lot of this stuff. And I would like to go ahead and input that I have been dealing with venomous snakes for probably about 7 years now. So I have a lot of knowledge with these guys, as well as up here I have bite protocols for everybody. So if anything was to ever happen, I have bite protocols input and have people on standby. I never deal with these guys by myself because of how much of a risk it is. So anytime I'm dealing with these guys, I'll let my girlfriend know or my friends know or something, and they'll be like outside the building because, you know, I got to clean cages and stuff, you know. So I just want people to know that I do take certain precautions, and every cage is locked and labeled. But this girl right here, he is beautiful.
Yeah. And I think it's awesome that you do take those safety protocols because, you know, a lot of people that you'll see online, they'll just free handle their snakes that are venomous. And I mean, like, these can kill you if you're not careful.
These guys, without anti-venom, it's a very bad bite. So with one of these guys, if you get bit, the survival rates, depending on where you are, like if there's not a zoo around you that has the anti-venom, most hospitals do not carry it because it's an African species, and the zoo can easily deny you. Like recently, I don't know if you saw down in South Carolina, a guy got bit by an inland taipan, and the Kentucky Zoo actually denied the venom for it because he was very negligent, and he went on Facebook like a couple weeks before that saying that he never needs anti-venom and he'll never get bit. Week later, he got bit. The Kentucky Zoo was called to see if he could get the anti-venom, and they denied it, which they can absolutely do because they need to keep that just in case something happens at their facility, and they need to make sure that their workers and everything are safe and taken care of.
All right, we've got the next snake out right here, and this is another gaboon viper. He's going to tell us about this one right here.
So this guy right here is what you call a West African gaboon viper. So they come from West Africa. He just did a little yawn right there, as y'all can see, and rearranging his fangs and his fang sheath. Now, the West Africans come from like West Africa, and East Africans come from East Africa, obviously. Like usually the East Africans around the Congo area, and the West Africans around Ghana. Now, these guys, their names are obviously the gaboon viper, but Bitis rhinoceros specifically, and the East Africans are Bitis gabonica. Now, this one's a lot more active, a little bigger, and this is another male. Now, if you hear her puffing, well, him puffing, that's what they like to do. Now, as I was pointing out on the other one, as you saw by its mouth, it had double stripes. That's how you can identify. This one does not have the double stripes, or it does not have a teardrop. Now, sometimes people will have a teardrop one and think it's an East African, but actually in the wild they can actually hybridize, and you will get East African, West African hybrids, and they look very pretty. They just don't tend to get as big as the East Africans, and they won't have the double stripes. But there he goes, moving. See if I can get him to do the caterpillar move for you.
He really is huffing. Oh, he is kind of doing it. You can see moving his muscles in his body that he was just doing a second ago. He started doing it.
These are one of the fastest striking gaboons in the world. Not fastest striking gaboons, but fastest striking venomous snakes in the world. Now, he's doing a little caterpillar crawl. Now, as you just saw just then, now you are a good distance away, and I'm glad you did grab your hook. That's why I gave it to you just in case. But they move very fast, just randomly. You see how I touched it, and it sporadically, it just jumped forward like that. These guys are very fast, and they do pack a punch when they hit you. But I mean, that's pretty much it for the gaboons. I do have another baby, a West African baby female I'm raising up, U.S. captive born and bred. I can show it to y'all in just a minute, but until then, let's go ahead and put this guy up and pull that female out for y'all.
All right, we've got the next snake out right here. It is another gaboon viper. This one's just a little baby though.
So this one is actually one of this year's babies. A friend of mine, he breeds gaboon vipers and a lot of other venomous species. This year he had about 25 United States captive born and bred gaboon vipers. This is a little baby female that I'm raising up to breed in the future. I will probably have her about 3 years before I try to breed her, probably 4. But you can tell she's very thick. They're a very thick-bodied snake. She's a very healthy snake. And like on the male you just saw, you can see that his pattern connected. I picked this one specifically because the X's and stuff on his back and some of the patterns, they're broken up and they're not there. So I just like the unique looking snakes. And when she sheds out, I've had her for 2 months now. She eats good, but she has not shed yet, which isn't uncommon. They don't shed a lot, but when she sheds out, she's going to be very vibrant. You can see the colors on her side as we speak, But when she sheds out, she's going to be beautiful.
All right, we've got the next snake out right here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about this one.
So this right here is another Bitis species. So recently we just saw our Bitis gabonica and our Bitis rhinoceros. Now we are talking about Bitis arientans. I'm not sure if that's how you're supposed to say the last part, but that's how I say it. Everybody's grammar isn't the same, but this right here is a puff adder, which is the common name. Scientific being Bitis arientans. As you saw, it just jumped. They are very fast moving snakes, just like the gaboon vipers. They are one of the fastest venomous snakes, and this is a little yearling, and as you can see, it has a very bright pink colorations to it. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up very well, but this is a female I'm raising up. I'm going to attempt to breed her in the future as well. But other than that, these guys are very cool species, and these ones move like the caterpillars too. You can very see how good that one's moving.
Yeah, that one's really doing it. We're gonna go ahead and put this one up and take out the next one. Here's the next snake right here that we got out. This is a rattlesnake, and it is an albino diamondback rattlesnake, which is a pretty popular rattlesnake. But he's gonna tell you a little bit more about this snake.
This right here, common name being a western diamondback rattlesnake, albino to be specific. That's why it's yellow in those pretty coloration. Scientific name being Crotellus atrox. So this is my male. I do breed these guys. I have a big female, and she's just a normal het albino, het melanistic, and he is a albino 100% het melanistic. So I have potential to make a couple things, as well as I do have a female purple haze, which is an albino melanistic, and another trait I can't quite remember right now. But these guys are real cool, and as you can see, he is easily 4 foot when he stretches all the way out. Now he's very fast, but he's very chill. Now, despite any of the venomous snakes being very chill, I will never free handle, because that's not something I do. I don't believe in doing that. Now, if you notice that spot right there on her, or any other spot on her, that is because the person I got her from, they left a rat in her cage one time, and she wasn't eating because they weren't keeping the temperatures proper, and she actually got bit. So that's what those marks are. But she's healing up from them. I've had her for probably about 3 months now. She's shed one time since I had her. That's why the injuries aren't all the way healed up yet, but for the most part, she's a pretty good snake, and I have her in with another one. I co-have them only because around this time of year, like, I'm cooling them down just a little bit, and then when they get a little warmer, they will breed, and that's just how you breed them and stuff. But this is one of 3 or 4 different rattlesnake species I own, and I'll show those guys to y'all. We'll go ahead and get her put up, and I'll let y'all see what her cage looks like and everything. And then, now if you hear that other one rattling, that is one of the females I have with her.
Yeah, so that is why they're called rattlesnakes. You can see the big female in there rattling its tail right there and creating that sound. But we're not gonna take out that big female. We're just gonna leave her be for today. But you can see her all the way back there in the back, shaking that rattle. All right, we've got the next snake out right here. This is just a little baby rattlesnake right here. He's gonna go ahead and tell us what kind of rattlesnake this is.
So this right here is a Mojave rattlesnake. I actually breed these guys. Now this is the baby to the parents I have. I have a very big light colored female and a very dark colored male. Now in the babies, this was the only one that came out very bright colored like this. And if you see, it has kind of like a broken up pattern right behind his neck. And with if you can get like a good view of her, you can actually see she had like a pink coloration kind of to her. Kind of like a pinkish, or like a kind of like a very, very light desert sand color looking to her, and she's very beautiful. This is a female I decided to hold back. I'm going to raise her up, and I might send her off to a buddy to breed because he has a different male. I obviously don't want to breed her father back to her. But these are a cool species overall. But Mojaves, they can pack a bad bite. I'd say their bite is worse than a Western Diamondbacks because the venom is just a little bit different. But these guys max out around 3, maybe 4 foot. They don't get as thick as the Westerns or like Easterns or anything like that. But they're cool snakes in my opinion. But hey, I like all snakes. But that's a little bit about her. I'll go ahead and we can get her put up, and I'll pull out another very beautiful baby rattlesnake that I keep.
All right, now we're gonna show off the next little baby rattlesnake right here.
So this guy right here is trying to currently identify as a tree viper, but it's okay. But this is a banded rock rattlesnake, Crotellus cobrai. Well, Crotellus lepidus cobrai. It is a Elk Mountain locale specifically. These are captive born and bred from a buddy of mine out in Texas. This one is the male, and it is very beautiful, as you can tell. These are a pair that I plan to raise up and breed myself, because not a lot of people breed the banded rock rattlesnakes, but they're a very sought after snake. Now, everybody has their own niche of things that they like. So the venomous market is like it's very different than like ball pythons and stuff like that. But anybody I sell to, I like to vet them. When I say vet, I like to make sure they have at least a year or two of experience under their belt. I like to make sure they have a reference, and I like to make sure that they can tell me who their mentor is and who actually trained them and how much experience they have, because I don't want these getting into the wrong hands of people like minors or anything like that. Everybody has to be 18 or older who buys from me, and they must also have to know their laws and local ordinances and stuff like that. But these guys are very cool, in my opinion. I like these ones. They're one of my favorite looking rattlesnakes.
Yeah, it definitely has a very pretty pattern and color.
All right, we've got the next snake out right here, and it is another rattlesnake, and he's going to go ahead and tell us about this rattlesnake.
So as you just saw, as it started to move that way a little bit, it did like move sideways. The reason for that is because it is called a sidewinder rattlesnake, just like how it's doing right now. So this is Crotellus celestis, and the specific locale on this one, I believe it is a Colorado locale. I'm not 100% sure what locale it is, but this one is a breeding pair. I have this one and a male for this one, and I do actually have a baby off of these that I decided to hold back. She had about 8 babies last year. I've been just kind of getting her back up to weight. I don't like to breed back to back because I like to make sure that they're up to size and everything. I actually care for my animals, unlike some people, but as you see, no intentions to bite. They just move very fast when they get spooked.
Next up, we have a cobra right here, and these guys are really cool. I love cobras. He's going to go ahead and tell us a little bit about this specific cobra.
So this right here is what they call Najacuthia, which is a scientific name, common name being monocle cobra. Now, if you notice that little spot on the back of his head, if I could get it to hood up, which it really won't, she's pretty chill for the most part. But that circle on the back of her head is why they call them the monocle cobra. Now, she's a pastel het albino. These guys are in a lapid. These guys are very, very fast. Now, with the cobras being very fast and everything like that, I like to use a very lightweight hook. It's very loose, makes me feel very comfortable and stuff, and I can move and maneuver real easy with it. Now, she's pretty chill. I do have a male for her. Not sure if I'm going to breed them. They're more of like one of the other snakes that I like just as pets, just to like a display animal, kind of like, you know, I'm really passionate about these guys. But as you can tell, she's calming down a lot. She does got some size to her.
Now, how big will one of these get?
They can get about 6 foot. Now, as you just saw, that's what I was going to point out. They will wrap their tail around your hand when you go to tail them, and when they do that, most of them don't ride a hook very well. They'll jump back at you, so you got to be very cautious when you do tail them. And when you tail them, what a lot of people would do if they turn back at them is whip them. But I don't like to do that because I don't want to hurt the snake. So I kind of just like brush them off a little bit just to get them to let go. But very cool species and very animal I'm very passionate about with these guys.
All right, here is another cobra right here. And this is a species of spitting cobra. I'm gonna see if I can get it to come up close. That's what all this stuff is on the glass right here. It's spit, and they spit venom, so it is very dangerous, especially if you get it in your eye. So
this guy right here is specifically a Indo-Chinese spitting cobra. A lot of people call them the black and white spitting cobra. Now, spitting cobras, they say the aim isn't very spot on, but I think they can aim very well, and when they spit their venom, it can go up to about 7 foot when they do it. Now, it's a lot of times people think, oh, if it spits on me, am I gonna is it gonna be like if I got bit? Now, it won't be like if you got bit, because venom has to be injected, while poison has to
be secreted
or
eaten. Or eaten.
So if it spits on you, you're fine. The only thing, if it gets in your mouth and like you have an ulcer in your mouth or something, then that's when it'll affect you because it gets into your bloodstream. But if it spits in your eyes or something, what people do, they wash your eyes out with milk. Just like if you eat something hot and you drink milk after to kind of coat it, you wash it out with water and then you wash it out with milk to kind of flush your system out of it, flush your eyes with it and stuff like that. But usually he likes to hood up, but now he wants to be cool for the video.
Now he's going to be chill for the video. But that's okay, because I did want to show this guy off because he is pretty cool. I've never seen a spitting cobra up close, and I love the pattern and color on this guy. All right, here is the next cobra right here. I'm going to see if maybe you can get it to do its hood up. It's another monocle cobra. See if it will do it for us, because that is something really cool about cobras that they do.
This is the male, that's why it's so much smaller, and it's not as old as the other one. This one's probably about 1.5 years old. There you go.
There we go. Just stuck its hood up right in front of the camera there. It's doing it again. That is what we were trying to show you guys with the other monocle, but it was not wanting to do it. It was being really chill. So got this one. Oh yeah, look from the back. That looks awesome. Yeah.
A lot of people, when they handle these guys, they'll have like a hat or something, or they'll use their foot. They'll use their foot to distract them, to get them to hood up, to keep their attention off of you, per se, I guess you could say, so that you can handle them a lot better.
Yeah. But glad that we were able to finally get one to hood up, because that is really awesome. All right, that's going to do it for this awesome tour. Thanks to Abe for having us come out and check out his really awesome collection. But his socials are going to be down in the description below, so go ahead and check those out and follow him on all of his socials. But that's going to do it for today's Exotic Escapade. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to join the tribe, and I'll see you on the next one.